everyone. Thank you so much for your time today and for having me. I enjoy talking about the NDIS and support coordination. So just to give you a bit of background on myself, I have been working at Parkinson's New South Wales for a couple of years now. I originally started off as one of the support coordinators here. And since that time, we've actually grown as a team. And now I have a wonderful team of support coordinators that I lead. And so we've got quite a number of clients that we support, not only in getting them onto the NDIS, but also support them once they're on the NDIS to get all their supports like occupational therapy, speech therapy, all of those sorts of things set up. So what I might do, I've got a presentation here that I'll run through with you all. If you've got any questions, as I go through, you can always put your hand up, but I will obviously have some time for you as well at the end. So let's jump into it. Okay, so the NDIS, what is it? It's obviously the National Disability Insurance Scheme. So it's a government-funded program and it offers access to supports for people with a disability that are under 65 years of age. So once you're over 65 years of age, that's when you go into the My Aged Care sector. So if you're under 65, and that could even be, as long as you're applying for it under 65, so you could be 64 and 11 months, as long as you're under 65 when you're applying for it, you can certainly attempt to access the NDIS. What do they do? So if you've got a disability, the NDIS will provide you funding to access supports like physiotherapy, occupational therapy and speech therapy. So it's about when you've got supports, obviously it adds up. So if you're going to physio once a week, if you're going to occupational therapy, and then you're doing speech therapy, at least if you're on the NDIS, you can get the government funding to support you to be able to access those sorts of supports to help you improve and maintain your condition. So if you require support to access the NDIS, we can actually help you with that process. So I hear a lot of feedback from people around the NDIS, and the application process can sometimes feel a little bit overwhelming, but we can actually assist you with that. And we've assisted hundreds, actually almost maybe thousands of people actually to access the NDIS and to get this support. So that's something that we have people that we work with. So we have, speech therapists that can provide assessments and reports. So to actually access the NDIS, you do need to provide recommendations from allied health professionals. So you'd need to obviously get a report from physio, speech therapist, occupational therapist. And it's those reports, when they're handed to the NDIS, that they use to determine whether you can access the NDIS or not. Okay, but as I said, we have an advocate here who can actually assist you with actually gaining access to the NDIS. And I'll just move on to the next screen. Okay, so support coordination. So once you're actually on to the NDIS and you've been through that advocacy process with one of our team members, you can then access support coordination. So support coordination is trying to make the process of setting up your supports easier. So it can be overwhelming, especially for people that might not have a local support network set up. So what we do is we actually provide you the skills and understanding to be able to implement and use your NDIS plan. So there's a lot of information in plans that are around funding, around assistive technology, around capacity building, and all of those things that might seem difficult to understand, but as support coordinators, that's what we do. We get someone's plan, we understand what the funding is, how much is in the funding, and what you can do with your funding. So that's trying to make that process a little bit easier for you. You can actually ask for support coordination in your plan. It's not given to everyone, but if you feel a need for it, you ask for the support coordination in there, and that will go a long way to probably reducing some of people's concerns around how overwhelming it might feel to get things set up. So it's basically to try and educate you at your plan, but also to reduce some of the anxiety that comes with it. So to access the support coordination, you'd need to ask for that in your meeting with your local area coordinator if you're approved for the NDIS. So that's just a conversation really think it's important that I have support coordination to help me set up in the initial plan, and they'll just put it in there. It's under capacity building because they see that as obviously building your capacity. They don't take that funding from anywhere else. So if you ask for support coordination, they're not going to reduce your funding in physio, or they're not going to reduce it in OT because you've got support coordination. It's completely separately funded. And it's just another thing that another area of funding that they can actually put in there so that you can access the support coordination. And to give you a bit of a rundown on what we will do is provide support to help you understand and implement the funded supports in your plan. And we also link you to community, mainstream and other government services. So in an NDIS plan, you actually have some goals. So there'll be some short-term goals and some long-term goals. And that's about what you want to achieve. And based from those goals, it could be just accessing the community, getting out more. It could be, going to the shops, going out shopping, any of those sorts of things. And we can link you with the services to be able to do that, so that the impact of your disability is, it's not stopping you from doing what you want to be doing. And so how can we help you? We can guide you through the application process, as I said. I joke with people sometimes that the actual application process, it's quite time consuming. So you've got to get all the reports, you've got to get everything lined up. But once you've got everything lined up, it's actually quite easy. And the NDIS want to be able to assist, and they want to be able to help people with a disability. So that's fantastic. We also provide you with the supports in your area. And I guess the point of difference for us at Parkinson's New South Wales is we will provide you with supports with people that actually have experience with movement disorders. So, we can set you up with a speech therapist, but if they haven't worked with someone with Parkinson's and they're not understanding, the fact that it can obviously impact your swallowing as well as affects your voice projection, all of those little things with people that have worked with people with Parkinson's understand and know, it makes a big difference. So it's the same as, physios, OTs. It's really good to have people that have worked with people with the condition, because that just makes it a lot easier for future. We also connect you with supports which will assist you in improving your daily living. And that's things like support in your home. So if you need someone to help you, you would normally be able to mow the lawn, but you can't because of your condition, then we can help you get support set up to be able to access that, so that we can get someone to your house to mow your lawn. If you need help with, cleaning, because you would normally do that, we can also help you get set up with that. And we also support you through the planning process and any ongoing reviews. So each time that you go through a review, so most plans go for 12 months. So anytime you go through a review, you will need to get an update on your support. So you'll need to get an update from the OT, the speech therapist, but all of that should be included in your plan anyway. So it's not that it's on top of. If the NDIS are aware that an assessment needs to be done every review, and so they will actually put that into your funding for you. And that's just to make sure, obviously, with Parkinson's being a degenerative condition, we need to make sure that the supports are still relevant for you. And so that's why we ask for the reports to be done at every review process. We also provide options so that you can exercise choice and control. So choice and control is a very big thing within the NDIS. And with us, we want you to make the decisions about what's best for you. So we wouldn't, say, for example, just to use Michael's example, if you needed a speech therapist on the Northern Beaches, just give you one, we'd give you a few, like we'd give you 3, so that you can make the decision. Because, ultimately it's you that needs to exercise that control and decision making for yourself. And we need to just give you the choice to be able to do that. And we've got a team here of experienced social workers who all understand the Parkinson's disease and its complexities. Some of us, or a lot of us, have people in our lives and have been touched by Parkinson's. I have a parent with Parkinson's, so we all understand the challenges that come with that, and we all have a passion for being able to help. And these are all the different ways you can stay in touch with us. Obviously, the Parkinson's New South Wales website, the info line that I mentioned earlier, and we're on all of the major social media pages trying to get our names out there.